My Tinder date brought the body of his unalive mother to the date.
Bruh, I've heard of weird dates, but this one tops the charts.
Yeah, let me introduce you to my mother. She is dead.
Oh, man.
Like many other unfortunate souls, my non-existent dating life has turned me to the dating app world.
Indeed.
The shadow realm.
Shadow realm.
This particular one is Tinder. I've been chatting with a guy for a few days and everything was going swimmingly. We had so much in common and we were looking for the same things. His pictures were cute and he didn't live too far away.
Perfect.
Bam. All seemed well. So I invited him over for a grill out, some burgers in my backyard.
Oh, yeah.
It's very like,
It's an awesome date, I think.
it's a very, I just wouldn't expect that, like a cookout for your first date. I've never been invited to a cookout.
I think it's kind of because it's like, it's public. So like if it's weird, you could kind of go off and do your own thing. It's not just like you're sitting at a restaurant. Like what if someone brings their dead mother and you don't want to sit with them at the table anymore?
But it's also in your, I'm imagining it's just in your backyard. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I guess is it a cookout for two? Is it like a whole?
I think it's a cookout for two. I think it's like, I'm just firing up the grill in my backyard.
Maybe that's worse then. Cause then they're stuck in your
Yeah,
house.
then you're stuck. Or at least you can grill mom.
Don't worry, I brought the meats.
So I invited him over to grill out some burgers in my backyard. I just got that. I told him I'll bring the meats. He asked if he could bring anything. I said, sure, bring some bacon for the burgers. He agreed and said he'd be over there soon. Given his distance, I expected him to be over in a short 15 minutes. So I fired up the grill and seasoned the burgers. Half an hour later, he messaged me. I've driven past a couple times and chickened out. Are you sure you want me to come over? Maybe a red flag, but I chalked it up to nerves and just said, hey, I'm hungry. Get over here, bruh. So this haggard-looking guy shows up, much different than his Cedric pictures. You know, Cedric Diggory?
Oh, bro, he be looking fine.
I dig it.
Peace.
That's all right. I can move past it. From the minute he walked up, and I kid you not, he did not take a breath. Within the first 5 minutes, I knew his life story from his aunt who hated their grandma to his father who likes to collect taxidermy.
Oh.
Not a single breath. And bro, if you have like relatives that are collecting taxidermy, check his floorboards because that man might be a serial killer. Again, I just figured he was nervous. So I put the burgers on, and when they're ready, he pulls out a Ziploc from his pocket with 2 pieces of bacon in it and puts them only on his burger. So like he didn't even bring the bacon to cook. He cooked the bacon and then put them only in his burger.
See, that's not even necessarily like terrible, but it's just why?
Why? Why would you do that? We sit down in the patio and start eating. I finished my burger before he even started his. He did not stop talking the entire time. When we sit down, he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a vial. It's about 2 inches tall with a cork in it. It's filled with black powder.
Uh-oh.
He must have noticed me staring at it, flipping between if he was about to snort something strange or build some sand art. He said, oh, all super casual. I'd like to introduce you to my mother.
No.
His mother.
No.
And then he proceeds to say, I want to have a little bite of her every time I eat to remember her and keep her memory with me.
Stop.
And he proceeds to salt his burger with his own mother.
Oh my God. What is wrong with this person?
I just stared at him for what felt like an eternity. I didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or run. I like to bring her to anything. I like to bring her with me to any important event in my life. She also has ashes in this necklace I'm wearing and this ring I have on, and this half sleeve tattoo is for her. Did he use his mother in the sleeve?
I mean, it kind of sounds like it.
Bro, this guy's eating his mom
Good God.
when he should be eating out his date.
Heyo.
Heyo. Now, mind you, I've lost many people close to me, and I don't judge people based on their grief cycles. We all cope differently, and I respect that. But a homeboy brought a vial of his mother's ashes and set them on the table for our first date.
That ain't it, Chief.
I simply could not. He finally finished his burger, and I made some excuse about having to clock in and finish some work at 9:30 p.m. He texted me before he even got into his car and told me, "My mother really liked you.
No.
I can't wait to see you again."
She can't like you because she's ashes. God.
I told him I didn't feel a connection to him or his mother. Bam.
There you have it.
Public data check. Make sure you don't date creeps
Get checked, y'all.
or his mom. Ashes.
Am I the a-hole for calling the cops on my teenage nephew after he robbed his own grandmother with Alzheimer's?
OKOP. This is OKOP. I'm Samuel Donner.
And I'm John Frye.
And we tell the funniest stories on the internet.
Yeah. Samuel,
Yes.
I am curious. Have you ever robbed somebody?
At gunpoint?
It could be at gunpoint if
Yes.
that was what you did
Back in the good old days.
back in the good old days. Or stolen anything.
Back in the 1800s, I used to hold up every bank on the block. They called me old Sammy Quick Hands. No, I haven't held up anyone at gunpoint.
What about stolen anything?
In Australia, I was basically starving, and I used to get 2-for-1 groceries, is what I called it. It's a self-checkout. And
Right.
I would just scan like every other item. I did not get caught, but one of my roommates did. And so he is banned from all of these stores in all of Australia.
No. You got scared straight, huh?
I did, yeah. And stealing is bad. Stealing is
not
bad. But I was a starving college student.
Yeah.
And protein shakes can only take you so far.
Yeah, I had a similar experience. See, my thing is like I had never like done any like petty theft or whatever like before I left home for college. But after I left home for college, I would like not have a ton of money or negative money and some credit card limit. So what I would do is I would go to Vons or Safeway and get like a granola bar, or not a granola, but like a Cliff Bar or something that felt hearty. And I would eat it while I was walking around pretending to look at things.
Oh my God.
And then just leave.
Yeah.
So that was my like foray. And now if there's like teeny tiny things, then I'll just take it. If I don't feel like for instance, I needed a binky for my Halloween costume, and I didn't feel like paying $7 for a binky, and that was the only option. So I just took it.
John is a thief, guys.
I'm
He's
a thief. Arrest me. I don't do it often, but every once in a while, there's a $7 binky that is the only object I need that I will take. But today's story, we have someone who did a little bit more than steal a binky. Am I the a-hole for calling the cops on my teenage nephew after he robbed his own grandmother with Alzheimer's?
Why would you rob your grandmother? She's already having her memories taken from her. You're going to take her belonging?
My mom has late stage Alzheimer's and has been unable to manage her money and needs around the clock care. It probably would be safer to put her in a nursing home, but she made us promise to only do that as an absolute last resort.
This is sad.
It gets spicy later down the line.
Spicy grandma. What will she teach him?
She had a lot of investments and savings from my dad before he passed, so we could hire a professional carer in her home.
The money that came from dead parents, like Bruce Wayne.
My sister is the one who lives the closest and visits often, so she handles my mom's finances. We give my sister about $200 a month for her to run errands, help look after my mom since we both live out of state. My other sister called me to tell me there's been a lot of cash withdrawals recently on my mom's card. I check, and for nearly a year, there have been a ton of $300 to $400 withdrawals. So like constantly throughout the year, there have been like withdrawals every time, $300 to $400. We call my sister who's handling the finances, and she is also confused and says she never takes out cash. She only pays bills with the bank card and uses the credit card for groceries, etc. So she never uses the ATM to withdraw. She freezes the bank card and I take a red-eye flight over. Long story short, we asked the bank where the ATM withdrawals were happening. My sister was shocked when she Googled the location. She found out that it was right next to her son's school.
What?
Yep.
No, her son is stealing from grandma.
Dude, don't do it, nephew. Respectfully. We waited until the son got home, and then we confronted him, asked him where he worked. And he said, a local restaurant. We said, hey, we would love to go with you to the restaurant. To confirm that he worked there And he got really, really panicked and said, the management just changed, so they wouldn't know who I am.
Oh, sounds like he's totally innocent.
So innocent, this guy.
So innocent.
I asked him then for his paycheck, and he finally gives in and admits he doesn't have a job.
I wonder where he's been getting that money.
My sister asked him where the money for the new stuff he bought comes from, and then he finally broke down and he said, yes, I've been stealing the bank card to make cash withdrawals from my own grandmother's bank account.
And I don't even feel bad about it.
Then I asked him, where did he even get the pin for the bank card? Then my sister piped up and confessed she writes her pins on sticky notes so she doesn't forget them.
Oh, see, this is, like obviously the son is terrible for stealing his grandma's crap, but you gotta practice some safe security. You can't just write down your pins everywhere, for the whole world to see. Come on, protect yourself with NordVPN.
I take the bank statements and I calculate that he owes a whopping $14,308.
$14,000?
He's stolen over $14,000.
Bro, what is he buying?
How many Jordans are you getting, bro? At this point, I laid down the law. I told him he has to pay it back now, or I am going to file a police report on him for theft.
Wow, really laying down the law. Good for you.
At this point, my sister begs me not to, saying if he has anything on his record, he might not get into college.
Oh no, should have thought about that before you take advantage of grandmas.
I told her I won't if she pays it, but she said she's struggling and doesn't really have the money. She's a single mother. I told her that isn't good enough. And she complains her son is only 16 years old and he doesn't know any better. That works if he stole like $20. I told her they won't put a 16-year-old in jail, but he might do it again when he's older, so it's much better for him to learn his lesson now. She said we could just take it out of her son's inheritance that would be coming from his grandmother. And I yell at her that if our mom was in a state to judge, she would write him out of her will for this. I call my lawyer and I ask what I should do. And he suggests filing a police report, but not including my nephew's name just yet. I did just that. I filed the police report. And my sister is screaming at me that I ruined her son's life by involving the police and he's only a kid. I'm not happy about it, but at 16, if he's stealing from his own grandmother with Alzheimer's, who looked after him when his own mother was sick, I can't imagine what he's gonna do when he's older.
Curb that behavior now before it gets any worse. I feel like that kid ain't raised right,
Not at all.
You gotta get some hard knocks lessons in there. ASAP, because it's only gonna get worse.
But you know what will always raise someone right, Sam?
Oh, us on OKOP. Let us be your daddies.
We're the big daddies now, guys.
Big zaddies. Follow us on Spotify, on TikTok. Subscribe to us on YouTube if you want to be a real one. Support us on Patreon because we got a Discord where you can talk to us.
Yeah, and join everyone on our Discord. Ariel, Casey, Zephorius, Davine, Muhammad, Amanda, Will, Connor, Desiree, Keegan Simmons, and Kathy Quigley.
See you soon.